we have a lot to discuss. I have read so much since last weekend, and I mean that. I've read a lot. And I'm working on another one, two other ones. So, in the last episode that we posted, we talked about Haunting Adeline and Hunting Adeline. Yeah, and then our previous books that I've read before that. So, I have quite a bit to talk about. I have Haunting Adeline, I've got A Good Girl's Guide to Murder Part 1 and 2, and then I also have You Shouldn't Have Come Here. Ooh, just in the past week. So it's gonna be juicy. They are all really good books. They're all trending on Book Talk. You can get them on Kindle, Amazon, all of them, Audible. Always making fun of me. Okay, so Haunting Adeline. In the last episode, we talked a little bit about it. A cat and mouse type of book. If you're into that, now I will say, I usually don't like those types of books, and I only say that because I'm not a big smut reader. I'm more into the mystery, the thrillers, the psych ones. This book was good. It did have a good story. But for some reason, like I was telling you the other day, I expected just a little bit more action out of it, but that's just me personally. That's a biased opinion based off of what I usually read. So just a rundown on that book. Addie had inherited a mansion from her great-grandparents. She moves in and starts beginning renovations, and her best friend helps her. And then soon she finds out she has a stalker. How do I do this without spoiling it? After you read it, after you read the book, you're like, I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah.
Without giving it away. But that's basically the stalker and her end up together, pretty much. Yeah. Subplots: Addie finds family journals, discovers that her great grandma was killed as well, and she was just trying to find out what happened with that. So I finished that one. I'm not gonna read the second book for a while, just because one, this is kind of not my thing. It was good for those who like those things. Those who read that type, it is good, for that. It was a good book though. It is worth the time if you like that kind of stuff. But I just need a break because I have a stack of books that I really want to finish too. So that is Haunting Adeline. Okay, it is a really popular book as well. So this is just a biased opinion. Emily loved the book. She's working on the second one. So my next book, though, is A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. It is a true crime, mystery, and thriller. So basically, a lot happens. It is a 3-part series. There's 3 books to the series. Now, the first one you can read without reading the other 2. It doesn't end on like a cliffhanger or anything like that.
Sorry.
You're fine. It doesn't end on a cliffhanger, so if you wanted to read the first one and you didn't get to the second one, that's fine. But basically, a girl named Pip, she's a high school student. The summer before her senior year, she starts working on a senior capstone, and her idea for the capstone is to interview people and work on like a murder case that happened 5 years ago. Now, the murder was based off of a girl named Andy Bell. She was a high schooler at the time, and she had gotten killed. And the whole town thinks that it was her boyfriend, Sal. But then a few days after Andy gets reported missing, Sal is found dead in the middle of the forest. Confessions were sent from his phone to his dad admitting that he killed Addie, supposedly with Andy's bloody phone. I said Addie. Her name's Andy, I'm sorry. With a bloody phone that belonged to Andy. So someone had set up Sal, and the whole town thinks it's Sal. Pip didn't think it was Sal. And then Pip starts to interview a boy named Ravi. And Ravi is Sal's little brother. And so this murder happened 5 years ago. And as they start to dig up into the murder that occurred, stuff starts to come to surface. Pip finds out things. She will go to crazy measures, to find out what really happened that night. Now, Pip's character is like the good girl. She's smart, capable, and motivated, always does the right thing. Sal was the boyfriend, Andy's boyfriend. Basically, someone made it look like Sal had killed himself and murdered Andy. And you're like, did that really happen? Did Sal kill Andy or did someone else kill Andy? You don't know. Yeah. So Ravi, Pip starts to ask him and interview him about Andy's murder. Now, Ravi being Sal's little brother, Ravi wanted in on this. And Pip and Ravi start to investigate and start to dig up a little bit, and they start to find out the truth. Now, this was located in Fairview, Connecticut. Within the book, it includes log entries from her project within each chapter. She keeps track of these to just keep track of all the information she has. Let's see. Yeah, so stuff starts to come up to surface. They find out a lot of dirty things. A lot of people are lying, trying to protect themselves. Yeah. Now, after time, Pip starts to receive threatening notes telling her that she needs to stop digging. She needs to stop looking and stop doing this for her senior capstone. Pick a different topic. She goes through a lot to, she pretends to be other people. She goes to these parties. She's going to extreme measures to find out what really happened that night between Andy and Sal, or Andy and Sal and someone else. Just how far is Pip willing to go to discover the truth? So yeah,
dang,
a lot happens. It is really good.
That does sound really
I finished it yesterday with starting it literally the night before. So, it does have 3 parts. I am starting part 2. And the reason I'm starting part 2, again, you can read the first one without reading the second one. It's not going to matter. But still, there's a lot more in store. So the second one is called A Good Girl, Bad Blood. It's part 2 to A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. Pip is not a detective in this book at the moment. Now, Ravi and Pip start a true crime podcast about the murder case that they solved last year, which was the first book. Now, the podcast has gone viral. It's super popular, and Pip swore to herself that her detective days were over because it had put her in danger, other people in danger. Yeah, a lot had happened in that first book. Yet she will have to break her promise, yet when someone else she knows has gone missing. Yeah, someone else has gone missing that she knows personally. Now, she did so much to get to this point, so what will happen? I just started this book, so we'll see. Yeah, that's all I got on that one. I can't say too much because it is the second book, but my 4th topic, or 3rd topic, I don't know, is You Shouldn't Have Come Here, which I have right here. You Shouldn't Have Come Here by Geneva Rose. She is the author to The Perfect Marriage, if you've read that book. That one's also really good. Some of the reviews on this book is everything I want in a thriller, sexy, shocking, and intense with an ending I never saw coming. Geneva Rose is the queen of twist, and Colleen Hoover had written that one. Yeah, a pitch perfect sinister read and begging for a sequel by John Mars, the author of The One. So, You Shouldn't Have Come Here. And I'm just going to read just a tiny bit about that. Okay, so You Shouldn't Have Come Here is about a girl named Grace Evans, an overworked New Yorker looking for a total escape from her busy life. Books an Airbnb on a ranch in the middle of Wyoming. When she arrives at the idyllic getaway She's pleased to find that the owner, by the name of Calvin Wells, and he's eager to introduce her to the easygoing way of life. But there are things Grace discovers that she's not too pleased about. One, a lack of cell service where she's located, a missing person, and a feeling that something just isn't right about the ranch and the owner.
Ooh.
Despite her uneasiness, the two bond and start to fall for one another. However, as her departure date nears, things change for the worst. What began as a playful romance soon turns into a complicated web of lies. Grace grows weary of Calvin as his infatuation for her soon seems to have morphed to an obsession. Calvin fears that Grace is hiding something from him, including her real reason for staying at the ranch to begin with. Vacation flings typically end in heartbreak, but for Grace and Calvin, it'll be far more destructive.
Ooh.
Now, starting this book out, let me just... Okay, I'm going to read like the first paragraph.
Okay.
So it'll say day 1, chapter 1, and then it'll say Grace. So I'm assuming... Ooh, that was sharp. Ooh. Point of views change. Calvin and Grace, and it switches back and forth. That's going to be interesting. So, chapter 1 is from Grace's point of view, of course. So she says, I didn't want to stop, but when the low fuel light lit up on the dashboard of my car, I knew I had no choice. Gunslinger 66 was the only gas station I had seen for 40 miles, right off Highway 26. If it weren't for the neon sign that read open, well, actually ope, because every few seconds the letter N flicked out, I would have thought that it was permanently closed. The station was run down with clouded windows and wooden beams barely holding up the structure. The old Mazda, a hatchback, sputtered as I pulled up next to the pump. I let out a sigh of relief and shook out my hands. They ached from gripping the steering wheel so tight. I'd barely made it here running on fumes and hope for the last mile. Closing the door behind me, I secured my bag over my shoulder and held it tight. There was nothing in both directions except the black, snaking highway, open fields, and the sun that was turning its back on me. In the distance, I could see the mountains. They looked like ant hills, but I knew up close they'd be bigger than skyscrapers I was used to. A tumbleweed floated across the road. Honestly, if it weren't for the movies, I'd have no idea what it was. Yeah. And it just goes on. So, I guess it jumps right into it. I can't read anymore. It jumps right into it. So, you ready? You want to hear this?
Ooh, that was loud. This is so cool.
Okay, sorry. I had to have a moment. That's cool. You know, we should start the ASMR videos that people do.
Videos.
ASMR, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Now that we have our mic in. Yes, we did get our
Beautiful
mic.
pink mic.
Our beautiful pink mic. I love it.
It picks up everything.
It is crispy. Krispy Kreme. Crispy.
Crisp.
All right, but that is my couple of books.
Okay.
Yeah, and I will always recommend The Vampire Diaries. I am obsessed with the show, the series. I will always recommend that. But that's for a different episode. We'll talk about that if we have time later. Okay.
Okay.
So, all right, Emily, tell us a little bit about your books.
So, I'm still reading Hunting Adeline because it's a long book. I am about halfway through. That's my little bookmark. Thank you.
Do you want to see the bookmarks I got from the library?
They have
got
new
this
ones.
pretty pink one. I'm pretty sure they just cut paper up, but I like this one. It's a pretty pink Love it. Super basic. And then a little ghost one for Halloween. Yes. Oh, also,
I need to go get you bookmarks.
yes, I will also tell y'all really quick. Sorry.
Okay.
Me and my friend Claire, she makes these. So she made a list for the next 2 months, a book for each day, up until Halloween, I believe. Yeah. So it's just a creepy, like, mystery, thriller, suspense books on the list. And she sent it to me, so it's getting close to the Burr months, close to them creepy months, which is my favorite. So I'm so ready for that list. Okay, Emily.
Okay.
Yes.
So I am still reading Hunting Adeline. I can't say anything else about it more than I said last week because you read the first book. I know you're not going to read the second one for a while, but I still don't want to spoil it.
Yeah. Don't.
But
Yeah. Go ahead.
I will say this one has infinitely more action than the first one does. Like, the whole premise of the book is action based on certain events that happen.
Yeah.
It's so good.
You
It
look
is
so
so
excited.
good. Yeah, I really like it. It has not had a spicy scene so far, which I think is okay.
The halfway through the book.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Ooh. Well, and the way the first book ended, it does end on a cliffhanger. Yeah, I don't know how they would start that book out any other way, you know?
Yeah. It's like keep you on the edge of your seat kind of thing. And like there are some characters that you just absolutely despise. And it's so good because the author really knows how to write characters that you can hate.
Yes. Yes. Which, I'm in the middle of so many series. Like, I've started so many series and just haven't finished them. That would be one. I've technically finished the Vampire Diaries. There's a lot of books in the Vampire Diaries series because the first book was written or like released, whatever you want to call it, in 1991.
Oh my god.
And the show didn't air until like 2008. So yeah, so it's got a couple different books, and it's also from like Elena's perspective, and then they have the Stefan Diaries too.
Ooh.
They have different ones, so I'm in the middle of that, and then A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. I'm reading that, the second one, but I really want to read You Should Have Come Here. So I'm in the middle of so many different things. And then
so
book club. When book club comes up, I read that book. So I did finish this month's book club book a while ago, before I started Haunting Adeline.
That was the one with like Josie and
Yeah. What was None of This Is True was our book club book, and I think
you talked about it.
Oh yes, I did talk about it on August 19th. I think that was our first one.
I think so.
Yeah, because last week's was no wait no. No, that was
I don't know.
Something like that, because this is our third, right?
Yeah,
This is our third. Sorry.
it's okay. Okay, so Hunting Adeline, great book, huge book. I'm like 300 pages into it, and I've got that much left, so I'm assuming there's like 600 pages total. I think I wrote it down for last week, but
I like hearing the page turn. It's all.
yeah. So I wrote that there's 531 pages, so I've probably got like a solid 200 left.
That was a big book.
I know. I was gonna try and finish it because we originally got filmed this tomorrow. I was gonna try and finish it tonight, but that's okay. I'll try and finish it before next week, and then we can talk a little bit about it.
That's fine. I'm in no rush because these books I'm gonna have a lot to talk about next weekend.
So,
that book I've heard a lot about, and it is pretty.
A Court of Thorns and Roses. It is a very popular book.
Yeah.
Series. There's 5 books in the series. I've actually read this before, but after I'm done with Hunting Adeline, I'm gonna reread this one because I got the rest of the series because it was on sale on Amazon. So I bought the rest of the series. I'm gonna reread Court of Thorns and Roses to refresh my mind, and then I'll get into the rest of the series. But I did write about the first one, and
The reason why we have like
oh yeah,
our
colors.
stained, we did a color run this morning, and I immediately took a shower when I got home, and
too.
I'm
It's-
stained.
It still didn't come out, so
But I got told by multiple sources that it'll take just a little bit because my watch is also
oh no.
also pretty stained. The screen is fine; it came off the screen, but my watch is waterproof, so I'll occasionally just scrub it. Yeah, it looks bad right now, but it's fine. I got told it washes off. I washed the load today with what I wore
Yeah, me
from the
too.
color run, and it's still stained, but it's very light. It's like a hint of, but I did accidentally wash one of the other white shirts with it. And it's like a very small hint of pink. And I was like, is my eyes like messing with me? Or is that not? Like, is that
Oh,
pinkish
pink.
a little bit? But it was just it was a very small load. But the stuff came off my shoes. I threw my shoes in the washer.
I haven't put my shoes in
And
there yet. I had to bust
look at
out
that.
my new pair.
Look at that.
Ooh,
That
did come out.
They look new, yeah. They came off pretty good. The color came out of my shoes.
They're still sitting outside the front door.
I dropped them off, went upstairs, stood in the bathtub, and took all of it off, and then like set it in a pile on a towel, and then I just threw it in the washer when I got done with my shoes. So yeah,
I definitely need to put mine in the washer then.
Akatar.
Okay, so I wrote out a little summary. It kind of helped that I've read this book completely before, but I did obviously forget some parts, which is why I have to reread it. But based on Amazon's summary, I added a little bit of meat to it. So, our main character, her name is Feyre. That's how I pronounce it. Not a clue if that's the correct way. All of these names in this book are so difficult to pronounce. I have no clue if I'm saying them right. I'm sure the author has said something about how you're supposed to pronounce them, but now that I've already said all of them in my head, it's not changing. So
It can't change. Nope.
it would be weird. So her name is Feyre, spelled Feyre. However you want to pronounce that, that's your own thing.
How would you, Feyre?
Yeah, that's kind of how I thought it was. Feyre or Fair. I don't know.
Sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't read Akator, but a lot of girls in book club love that. Chelsea swears by it. Chelsea, if you're watching, she swears by A Court of Thorns and Roses series.
It is so good.
She stands by it for sure. So this is for you, Chelsea.
I don't know you, but I.
But all right. What do you got?
So, Feyre goes hunting for her family. Of freeloaders. I think she has like 2 sisters and her father that she lives with. It's kind of like it's a fantasy book, so it's kind of set in like a woodsy-ish area, and like obviously not modern times. And she's got 2 sisters. One of them is, I think, the youngest out of all of them, and she's mostly just copying the other sister, who I have no clue if she's the middle or the oldest. Don't know, but the second sister, I don't remember her name. She is kind of like prissy, bougie, kind of. She's like always wanting, I want a new dress, I want a new like fur coat, like that kind of thing. And they're poor in the middle of the woods, and this girl's over here pretending like they still have money because they used to have money, but now they don't. I believe, if I'm remembering right, it's because her dad gambled it away or owed somebody money, something like that. He's also pretty much useless. Doesn't really do anything. So she goes out. She's like basically the breadwinner of the family. She gets wood, she hunts for food, all that kind of thing. And this particular winter is a little bit harsh and they don't have very much food. So she goes hunting for like, I want to say it's like a week, and there's nothing, no deer, nothing. Till finally she finds a deer and she shoots it and she goes to collect it, but there's a wolf there, also trying to get it. Now, if she doesn't get this food, they're gonna die because they're gonna starve, right? Or they're gonna have to start like doing some things to get money. And she decides the best course of action is to kill the wolf. So she kills the wolf, and turns out the wolf was not exactly a wolf. It was like a shifter, I think. I don't remember exactly. It's like either a shifter or like a fairy kind of thing who was like turned into a wolf for a temporary amount of time. And his friend finds out and comes to collect his dues because she killed his friend. He's angry, he's upset. You killed my friend. What are you gonna give me in return? Otherwise I'm gonna kill people, right? And she didn't know about it, obviously, otherwise she wouldn't have killed it, because she skinned him. She like skinned the body and everything, had to use like she sold the fur because it's a giant wolf pelt.
Yeah.
So she sold it for a bunch of money. Now they can eat everything. And so he comes to collect like repayment basically, and he wants her to come with him back to like his wherever he lives. Right? And she's like, no thank you. But she kind of has to, otherwise she doesn't know what's going to happen to her family. And it's like an oddly nice kind of thing for him to do after she just killed his friend. So she's kind of suspicious. It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
So she ends up going back with him, and now she has to adapt to her new home because...
So she like lives there now?
Yeah, that's like her forever, she can't leave kind of thing. And also because there's this forest that's in between where he lives and where they lived. There's this giant magical forest that like...
Stop, that sounds like this other book that I've read. Oh shoot, what is it called? Oh my gosh, there's this book that I read when I first got here. Like back in November. Giles' aunt had recommended it. Okay, I don't know what it's called. It's gotta be on my Kindle. It's gotta be.
We'll circle back to that.
It's gotta be, because there was a big like magical forest thing, and she was like the princess, and once the princess or like something had like turned a certain age on her birthday, she got like, she would be like their sacrifice to like this wolf in the forest, and like the magical forest would try to get her blood was like special because of her bloodline.
That sounds so good.
Sorry, continue. I've got to find the name of it, but it's yeah, it sounds super similar, but continue.
But like this forest is dangerous, you know, there's like a lot of creatures in there.
What is it called? Shoot.
So she can't leave basically because she'll die. It's like a death sentence. Unless they take her across, and then she won't die because they can protect her. Because also there's other fae where he lives. It's not just him. So she ends up going there. By the way, the entire time they're like cursed. And
yes, what?
they've got like, they're cursed to have these like masks on for until something, but he won't tell her why they're cursed. He won't tell her how to break the curse, nothing. So she's trying to figure this out. She's trying to figure out like her emotions about being there, leaving her family, and like, are they okay kind of thing. Like, I can't check on them, I can't see them. And then once she gets like settled, she finds out that like something evil is lurking and like trying to harm everybody, like the entire realm. Right? So she has to try to decide what to do and if she wants to help them or if she wants to go back home and be with her family.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a really good book.
Yeah.
I want to know what your book is called because I like that idea.
It's. You have your phone on? Yeah. Okay. Go to Kindle or like. Oh, it's called For the Wolf.
For the Wolf?
Yes. Look up on Kindle. Let me see the front of it. Yes. Okay. This For the Wolf. There's 2 parts. 2 parts. Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm gonna read this to you real quick. Okay. I'm so sorry.
You're okay.
So, as the only second daughter born into centuries, Red has one purpose: to be sacrificed to the wolf in the woods, in the hope he'll return the world's captured gods. Red is almost relieved to go, plagued by a dangerous power she can't control. At least she knows that in the Wilderwood, she can't hurt those that she loves again. But the legends lie. The wolf is a man, not a monster. Her magic is a calling to help her, not a curse. And if she doesn't learn how to use it, the monsters the gods have become will swallow the Wilderwood and her whole world. Okay, if you've ever wished Beauty and the Beast had more eldritch forest monsters and political something, this is the romance for you, says Alex Harrow. And there's 2 books. Yes, here's the second one. Okay, the second one is called For the Throne. Now they're sisters. There's Red, and then there's the other one, which is the oldest. But Red has a special type of blood or whatever, is born into this family, and that's how she gets. Because of the gods taken, she thinks that a girl from that bloodline has to be sacrificed up to the woods, so that the monsters don't get like released. So called, like, was the story that they were like raised to know. So yeah, so the first daughter is for the throne, and the second daughter is for the wolf. But the For the Wolf goes first. Yeah, but a lot happens, of course. But here's your phone. Yeah, that's what that reminded me of. Sorry,
I'm gonna
to get a little off track. Oh, save the first one.
Yeah.
If you click. Oh yeah, that one right there. Yeah. This is the one I had read literally right when I got here.
At the cart.
I don't remember what happens, though. It's been a while.
That sounds like such a good book, though. I wonder if the library has it.
I'm not sure. I don't know how old the book is, but it was recommended to me last year. But sorry, anything else you would like to say? ACOTAR?
No. I mean, it is on sale on Amazon right now. The paperback of the first one is for $10.37. It's normally $19.
Okay.
If you want a hardcover, it's gonna be $17.59.
But you can get it on Kindle.
Yes, you can get it on Kindle and on Audible. My app just won't show me the prices, so I didn't write it down.
It's okay. Okay, well, give you a couple little recommendations. Mine are mostly suspense and mysteries, though they're all really good. So go ahead and let us know if you've read these or if you recommend any other ones similar to it, and we will see you guys later. Peace.